many of you all know about the Washington area, have heard of Ward 8? Okay. It is what I would call what used to be the Harlem because Harlem has really changed, but the Harlem of New York, or the south central part of LA. I mean, it is characterized as the low income, poorest, least educated, where the highest numbers of single parent families, women single parent households are held, the highest dropout rate. I mean, anything negative you can say about a community, this is the community that she represented. It's also the community where I live and where I run our business, the Washington Informer in DC Today. First of all, I have to say that I learned about the Black Press by being in it. The Black Press is alive and well with a loyal leadership that's growing younger because of our expanding online and digital presence. You walk in the door, you say you're from the Washington Informer, and sometimes folks turn their noses up at you because you're not from the Washington Post or AP or some other news organization.
It also tells the story of a daughter's journey to uphold her legacy.
A very special evening. You know, my father laid the foundation, and I'm glad that I finally caught the vision, and I'm glad that I have great people that I work with, fantastic photographers who document our history. That's the most important thing that we want to do as a newspaper. Not only tell the stories, but to document our history. Okay, that was Shevry's production. Stacy, I guess this is supposed to be intro for what we're going to talk about for a couple of minutes. But, you know, you got so much on your plate. I would really love to talk more about, this George Floyd bill and all of that. So,
but I was told by the great Shevry Lassiter that we are talking about you. So.
All right.
And so that means that, this show has been great today, but it's all downhill from here. So Denise, I'm going to start by asking you, graduated obviously from Howard University School of Law. You're a lawyer. So why did you choose journalism over law? Is there any regrets?
None at all. And as a matter of fact, when I came out of Howard School of Communications and went to Howard Law School, the first thing I did when I got there was after being asked by the law school newspaper editor, look, I hear you came from the School of Communications. We need you to run our newspaper. And so that's what kept me in law school, to be honest, because I couldn't wait to get there to get the paper out every month. It was a challenge, and it was a training ground for me here at the Informer. And when I finished that experience, everything that my father had tried to pour into me didn't really fill the cup until I had that experience. And that's why I said, I'm gonna go back to the Informer, and if I have to be poor, I'll just be poor and do what I like to do, and then go off and do something else. And I've been here ever since. That was 1979.
Wow, and there's a lot to be said about, as you said, being poor but enjoying what you do as opposed to the other way around. Denise, you've seen a lot of changes in this business, especially as a woman. Can you tell me maybe one or two things that perhaps you were happy to see change, and maybe one or two things that you might feel should still be a part of the newsroom?
Well, one of the things is, back in the day, our paper was printed in La Plata, Maryland, through undergrad, through law school, and through the first few years of once I came full time. I drove from DC to Waldorf 5 times a week. As a matter of fact, my battery on my Plymouth Duster died on 301 on the side of the road, where I stood for a long time trying to get the paper back to the office. And so that's one part. When they created desktop publishing, I was like, hallelujah, no more trips to the printer. But I think one of the things that I welcome, is our ability to that's a good question. Stacy, you got me stuck on that one. But I mean, I think that the need for the Black press, as I said earlier, hasn't changed. While I think more Black people have gone to what they call, as the dailies, or what they like to call the mainstream media. You came out of that, but it never has diminished the role that we play in our community. And so, and the need for us to be in this community. And I only say that because of what I hear people tell us all the time. We have a lot of stories to tell, and no one publication can tell them all. And the more of us that are out here, including us, the app that covers DC and Prince George's County and Baltimore, the more we're here, the more we can make sure that our history is left in good hands and is communicated in the right perspective. So I don't know if that answered your question, but time is running out.
Yeah, it's adequate. I'm sure that you're glad that the duster is no longer around either. That's a good change right there.
They
Denise,
made good cars back there, though.
well, they did. Well, you've been involved in so many causes, so many organizations. You sit on so many boards. There's the AARP, Washington Informer Charities, of course, DC Black Public Relations Society Foundation, and of course, there's the annual DC Spelling Bee. How important is it for you as a Black press publisher and those in other businesses too, involve yourselves or themselves in the immediate community?
It's essential. I think it's essential to be in the community. A lot of times we'll send dollars, somewhere, or, ask for volunteers and to send them somewhere. But, you have to be in touch and a part of the community and to serve in places so that people, get to see you. I'm thinking about, and this is a quick story I'm going to tell you. I think about a long time ago, when my boys were little and our washing machine broke down and I had to run and go to the laundromat. And this guy was so shocked. He thought I had come from uptown somewhere or whatever. I mean, I'm around the corner from the laundromat. And he was like, "What are you doing in the laundromat?" And before he left, I heard him say something like, Oprah Winfrey in the laundromat. I was like cracked up. But, I think it was good because we had a chance to talk. I got a chance to listen, and to hear about the issues that he was concerned about, our community. I think he felt good to know that I'm a resident. We're the residents of the same community. And sometimes I wish I could do so much more. But we have got to, especially right now, following this COVID pandemic, all of us are going to have to step out and really do some things to try to, bring our communities back because we've lost so much.
And of course, Denise, like any other outlet, the Informer, we love to believe that we are having an impact in the community by what's printed in the Informer and on the website. Now, how much of an impact do you, as the publisher, believe that the Informer has had on the greater DC area?
Oh, I don't know. I don't look back. I mean, one of the things that I try to tell, and that, I try to tell our writers and our photographers, every story that you do makes a difference. And if you're not trying to make a difference with your stories, then, you don't need to be doing this. I mean, we should be trying to improve the quality of life, encourage young people to go to school, to do well in school. Right now, we're trying to encourage people to protect themselves and their families by, getting tested for COVID-19 and also taking the vaccine. And if we see those numbers moving, if we see legislators who are making decisions based off of information we can provide them about, because we don't always go to community meetings. We can't go down, we don't do those things, but we will talk in the barbershop or the beauty salon or on social media. And that's where we can pick up what the community feels. So it's hard to say. We don't always give each other a lot of feedback unless it's something really, really bad. But, and I shouldn't say that because we do get a lot of accolades, all of us, including you, for what we do here at the Informer. But impact, I think, is really kind of hard to measure right now. But that's our goal, is to positively impact our readers in every way and our community in every way. Yeah. So, Stacy, I'm sorry we've run out of time to talk about me.
I know, Shevry's going to have a heart attack.
But, I just want to say thank you for what you do. And if you could just, like, in 1 minute, if we can do this, just really kind of bring us up to date, because I listened to that hearing, as I told you the other night, on the George Floyd bill, and also, the voting rights bill. Just in a nutshell, just tell us what's moving from the House now to the Senate and what we need to be keeping our eyes open for?
Well, three quick things. One, as you said, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act is headed to the Senate. And also a voting rights bill is headed to the Senate. Now, the third thing, of course, is the president's American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion stimulus. That will pass under something called reconciliation, in which you only need a majority. But the other two bills, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act and the Voting Rights Bill, need 60 senators to pass. That means that every single Democrat, all 50 of them, plus 10 Republicans, where are they going to find those 10 Republicans? It's not going to happen. So really, it comes down to this. The filibuster must go. And we can talk more about that later. It's a lot to get into, but the Democrats are considering, there are many Democrats considering eliminating the filibuster, which would make sure that every bill that's presented from the House, they can pass with just a majority. And of course, in the Senate, the Democrats have a slight majority. It's really 50-50, but the Vice President Kamala Harris has the tie-breaking vote.
So, Stacy, thank you so much for that. And before you go, I want folks to know that they can keep up on the news in a way that we can understand it every morning at 7:30 on Facebook. And they wanted to go where they can find you on a show called Let It Be Known.
Let it be known. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and here on Win TV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you tomorrow.